Hello everyone, it's Mark Gilero, the owner of MS Classic Cars, and I'm coming right back at you with another spectacular vehicle. Today, I'm sitting behind the wheel of an outstanding 1969 Ford Cobra, packing a 428 V8 that I have nicknamed a rare snake. You know what time it is? It's showtime. To start off this video here, this is a non-rehearse video. There's a lot of information that I'm probably going to forget to go over here in this presentation, so please visit our website at msclassiccars.com for a complete description with tons of highly detailed photos. We really go above and beyond with our photography to show you as many parts of the car as possible and be as transparent as well. So please make sure to visit our website. If you have or have not been following MS Classic Cars, please note that I only collect #1 and #2 condition vehicles. We've been doing that since inception. We are proud to say that we are the only classic car dealership in the country who services everything we sell, and we document the work with an invoice that's always pictured within the photo gallery, as we've done here with this vehicle today. Regardless of who restored the car, whether the car is factory correct, whether the car is custom, one thing that we have learned is that every vehicle needs to be shaken down and gone through, and that's what we do here to make the experience for the new owner as pleasurable as possible and not make a laundry list once they get it. So again, please understand what we do and how different we are. Regarding the next step in the process, we put it through a very vigorous detail process. We start from the bottom, work our way to the top. We do an outstanding job with the detailing. Once the vehicle is sold, I personally will handle all the paperwork. It always goes very smooth. I will even set up the enclosed transportation. Once the vehicle goes inside the transporter, we cover it with plastic, send the pictures to the new owner, and then it arrives at your doorstep as clean as it left our showroom. Again, it's a great process here at MS Classic Cars. Please do your homework on us, and I think you'll be very impressed. To start off this presentation here on this extremely special car, I am going to reference, again, my notes throughout this presentation, but I'm going to read you the first paragraph, which really kind of says everything about this car, and I think you're going to agree this is a great opportunity. This very rare 1969 Ford Cobra 428 is the real deal, and it has been completely restored to high show quality standards. It retains its original color combination. It's powered by its original matching numbers 428 CJ Ram Air V8 engine, C6 Cruise-O-Matic transmission, and 9-inch rear end with 350 gears. It's fully documented with the original build sheet, the Marti Auto Works report, which is a deluxe report, which is also included. The build sheet and the Marti report are included. I'll show you those in a minute when I show you the binder. It is one of 3,786 built. I want you to think about that. Of all the cars that were built, this is one of only 3,786, which makes it highly collectible. On that subject, I am going to flip to this page here, which I printed off of the internet, which is included. These are the production numbers for all of these cars. 1969, it will show here, Cobra 2-door hardtop, 3,786. Really important that people understand that Ford referenced this vehicle as a Ford Cobra. Some people reference them as Torino Cobras. Some people reference them as Fairlane Cobras. They really were not badged as that. They were not sold as that. They were not advertised as that. So what they are is they're Ford Cobras. That's what they were. And again, on the Marti report, which I just mentioned earlier, which is included, that is right here. And you will see at the top under the door data plate information, which tells what each vehicle always was. It's as clear as day that it does not say Torino, it does not say Fairlane, it just says Cobra. So that's what it is, okay? And again, this is that report that's included. You can get these at Marti Auto Works. So let's get back into this here. So as documented, this vehicle was built on November 29th, 1968. It was retailed by Massey-Ford, which was located in Hagerstown, Maryland, on April 17th, 1969. It was built in Atlanta, Georgia, again, as a 1969 Ford Cobra 2-door hardtop with a Royal Maroon Paint exterior and Black Broadcloth / vinyl bench seat interior. It was ordered with the following options: deluxe wheel covers, F70 14 traction tires with raised letters, AM radio, power steering, and the C6 Cruise-O-Matic transmission. This vehicle was one of only 159 with this paint code. So of those 3,786 that were produced, only 159 of them were in this color, which makes it a relatively rare color as well. It's one of 67 that were painted this color with this color interior. They reference it as a trim code. It's also one of 1,324 with this engine and transmission code. It's one of 167 ordered from this DSO, which is that location of where it was being shipped and so forth, and one of 168 with the deluxe wheel covers. You will notice in our pictures here and in this video, it does not have the covers on the car. I'll get into that in a little bit as we get on with the presentation. As the clean title indicates, this vehicle was purchased in 2006 by Gregory Silvestri Sr., who lived in Maryland. The car was a previous drag car, and it could have been part of Holmann and Moody, but there's no documentation to support that claim. Gregory decided to sell the car a few years later in 2008 to John Armacost, who also lives in Maryland. John and I have spoke. We've had great conversations. He's a great guy. He's very experienced restorer of different Ford models. John purchased this rare car to restore and bring it back to his glory days. It was a very solid example and completely matching numbers, so it made sense. Unfortunately, parts were hard to source, and he had to collect them over the course of many years. So John had experience doing other cars, such as Mustangs and things of that nature. Those parts can be a lot more readily available. When you get into such a rare car as this vehicle here, parts can be very hard to find. They don't sell a lot of reproduction parts, which makes these restorations very timely, very expensive. You got to keep that in mind when you're doing something that's rare. So again, it took him a long time. Finally, in around 2014, he started the meticulous nut and bolt restoration, which was on a part-time basis, as John was doing another car, always kind of in front of this car, and then he would jump on this and so forth. So during that part-time basis, he tried to make it as correctly as possible, and after 6 years, it was finally completed in mid-2021 for the Hershey, Pennsylvania Car Show, which he took there and presented the car and so forth. Since completion, it has less than 100 test miles. This is one of the best examples of its kind, and it's ready for the new owner to enjoy. So that really kind of sums up the car. It sums up the production numbers, the history, the details to the restoration. Regarding the restoration, we do have restoration photos in the photo gallery that you can check out. Sometimes seeing is believing. This car, again, was meticulous restored. He went above and beyond during that process. Now, let's talk a little bit about the exterior of the vehicle, and then I'll get into the interior, the trunk compartment, talk a little bit about the engine compartment, and then of course the undercarriage. When we're looking at the exterior of this, again, this is a very classic design here. It's got that real muscle car kind of sleeper look, if you will. I think of my service manager, Mike Marcella, who bleeds Ford. He's a diehard Ford guy, and he told me of all the cars that we've had in our collection, this would be one of his favorites. He'd love to buy this car, keep it, drive it with his wife and so forth. It's just an absolutely rare car. It's just really bad to the bone when you stare at it and check it out. One of the things that comes to my mind when I look at it is that hood scoop there, which was part of the 428 with the Cobra Jet ram air setup there. That's a functioning deal, but that hood scoop really adds a little bit of that muscle, in my opinion. Of course, you got the hood scoops, the hood scoop and the hood pins, which look really good. You'll notice that the front grille is black. It's kind of got like that mean look to it. Of course, it's got 4 headlights in the front, which again gives it a very unique appearance. So it really, in my opinion, just looks mean. When you get into the body itself, as I had mentioned, this was a great car to restore because it was highly original. John had told me that the vehicle retains all of its original sheet metal with the exception of the hood and the rear deck lid. Now, the rear deck lid doesn't come off of another car, so in some regard, it would be considered original sheet metal, but not original to the car. But this vehicle, again, is really special in the sense that it does have all of its original sheet metal. When you look down the side of it, it's very straight. The hood fits well, the doors open and close really well, the deck lid closes really, really nice as well. The gap lines are really good. You'll notice that in all of our photos, that everything just kind of fits super. And then of course the car was painted in its original color. It's an absolutely beautiful color. If you haven't seen this in person, it kind of changes a little bit depending on the lighting, but it's one of my favorite colors in the Ford products. I love this color in the Mustang. They have a very similar color as well that I've always really liked, but he did a great job with the paint work. I want to give a shout out to the company who actually painted it, Jerry's Hot Rods in Maryland. John had said that they're a really well-respected and well-known body shop there, and he definitely wanted me to mention their name, so that I wanted to make sure to do so. Again, this has been recently detailed by MS Classic Cars. We did a great job putting it through our paint correction process, and it really, really shines beautifully. So again, you will see that in all the photos that we've taken. Regarding all the glass in the car, all of the glass is stamped Carlite, you know, the Ford stamp that they had, and all the glass is original. Even the front windshield is original. It does have minor little scratches on the glass, but I would say, considering the age from 1969, it is in absolutely really, really nice condition. So again, it has all of its original glass. All of the trim around the glass, this driver's side mirror, the wipers, the headlight bezels, the fender trim, the door handles, the bumpers front and rear, all of the lenses, all of the emblems, obviously all of that was replaced new during the restoration, and it all looks absolutely beautiful. Getting into the wheels, I had mentioned earlier that I was going to talk about the hubcap situation. These are the original style wheels. They're 14-inch wheels. Normally from the factory, they would have been painted black. And in this case, because this car had the deluxe wheel covers, they were a much bigger wheel cover than the smaller kind of dog dish style moon hubcap that you would see. John did not like those. He thought it would be a great idea to actually paint the wheels the same color as the body, which I thought looks, what a great idea that was. It looks awesome. So that's what was done. We do have the hubcaps that would go in the center. They're not the deluxe oversized hubcaps, which quite honestly really ruin the look of the car, but they're more of the smaller ones. Those can be put on if the new owner decides to do so. The only reason that we didn't do that is strictly because we did not want it to ruin the painted wheels, because once you push them on, there will be some scratching and so forth that happens in shipping. So we wanted to make sure that we left them off. We think it looks killer the way that it is. And these wheels here are wrapped in the correct style tires. Again, just to reference them, make sure I get the specifications correct. They are Goodyear Polyglass F7014 with the raised letters as what they had come with originally. Getting into the interior of this vehicle, this is where it also gets a little bit special. During the restoration time frame, that's when John had found the build sheet, which was in the rear seat. That build sheet is actually here in this binder. It's pictured within our photo gallery. This is it. It's been laminated to preserve it, but this is worth its weight in gold when you have these cars, because what it is it's proof. Besides the Marti report, you have the original build sheet. As an example, if you had, say, a 1970 Chevelle and say it was an LS6, highly collectible, valuable car, and you had the build sheet, it would make a huge difference in what the vehicle was worth, as it does with this vehicle here today. These are the restoration photos that I had mentioned earlier, and of course we have a owner's manual here as well. So he found that build sheet, which was great. He was able to retain a lot of this original interior. So as an example, this headliner is original to the car, and it fits absolutely beautifully. Everything is in working order, such as the dome light and so forth. Sun visors are new. The dash is actually original to the vehicle as well. John was really proud to have been able to salvage the original dash. It has all of its original gauges, which were also restored. There's a little bit of information here regarding the tach. John did some improvements to the tach so it would work well with the Petronix high electronic ignition system, which is great. The seats that I'm sitting on here, this bench seat and the rear seat, they are original. They are unrestored. They are super comfortable. The only negative thing I would mention about the seats is in the corner of this driver's seat, it has a little tear that we tried to fix. We did an okay job with it. It's nothing to really make too much of a mention of, but I just wanted to note that it is got a little bit of a tear on the corner of the seat because, again, they are original. So the things that he did replace in here, obviously some of these knobs on the dash, did some work to the steering column. Obviously the door panels are brand new. It's got brand new carpeting, brand new pedals. He even added these floor mats, which coincidentally say Fairlane, even though I mentioned earlier that you don't really call them a Fairlane or a Torino, but they still look really cool. The Fairlane embossed on these black mats. So again, everything in this interior is in working order, right down to the AM radio, which plays very nicely. Getting into the trunk compartment, everything in the trunk compartment was done very accurately. The interior of it was actually painted body color, which looks great. It's got the correct style trunk mat back there that the factory would have had, and it also has a full matching spare with the tools and everything else. You can reference that again in all of our photos. When we get to the engine compartment, this is where things get exciting, as they do with most muscle cars. The engine bay in this is absolutely beautiful. One of the best I've ever seen. So the cowl area on these was actually painted body color. You can see down as you get lower into the firewall, the inner fenders, radiator support, all of that was painted in its correct shade of black. And then, of course, the heart of this baby is its original matching numbers motor that this car was born with. It's a 428 4-valve. It's a CJ, which is Cobra Jet. It's a Ram Air, as I had mentioned earlier. This is a great motor. It was completely rebuilt by a very well-known shop. We do have some receipts for that in the photo gallery of the DVD that's there and so forth. They did a great job rebuilding the engine. This engine was rated with 335 horsepower from the factory. I can't say enough about how great it runs. You're going to hear it in a minute. Again, this engine came with some things that were upgrades, obviously, as part of the Cobra and the 428, such as the cooling system. So all of that has been gone through. It does breathe through factory manifolds, and it does breathe through a reproduction factory style exhaust system. John was telling me about this gentleman who actually does these exhausts. He thinks they're the best reproduction versions of what's out there. They're expensive, but worth their weight in gold. This exhaust still has its original exhaust hangers, which is also pretty cool. But anyway, you will clearly see the original hoses, the original hose clamps. You'll see stickers that he put back in place, tried to paint a lot of the parts as correct as possible. He even put the Autolite battery topper on the battery and so forth. So again, knocked it out of the park with this engine bay. This thing runs awesome. The engine is actually coupled to its original matching numbers C6 Cruise-O-Matic, which is a 3-speed automatic transmission. This thing was also completely rebuilt. It shifts beautifully. When my service manager Mike was telling me he was driving it and testing it, he says she definitely chirps second gear. It's got a lot of power. Again, the rear end in this, all that power is transferred to the pavement through the original rear end. It is a Ford 9-inch is what they kind of reference it as. This rear end originally with these cars had an open differential. I believe it was an option to put the limited slip in here. When this rear end was rebuilt, it was rebuilt very well, very strong, and the limited slip was added, so now it does have posi traction. John kind of went over that today with me when I had called him. So again, everything in this car was rebuilt. Motor, trans, rear end, and it really, really operates awesome. Can't say enough about all of that. Getting into the undercarriage, as I referenced in my notes, it's also highly detailed. It's been fully restored. I would reference as mirror quality. So if you're at a car show and you want to display the underneath, this is one of those vehicles that you absolutely can do that. They did a beautiful job. All the floors were original, so they're in beautiful shape. Again, they were all painted in the correct shade of black, which matches the engine compartment. The power steering system was completely rebuilt. The braking system was rebuilt. All the suspension was gone through and done. All the fuel, everything to do with the fuel system and everything was gone through as well. Again, it's absolutely a true nut and bolt restoration, which is evident in all the photos that we provided. So again, make sure to check out all the photos to see how special this vehicle is. Well, to conclude this video here, before I go ahead and start it, I would like to ask, if you have not signed up for our VIP email blast, please do though. That's the best way that you can follow MS Classic Cars. We do a few email blasts per week, which keeps everybody in the loop of what we have going on. Also, I would ask, if you have not looked into our social media platforms, please do that. We would really appreciate you following us on social media as well. I'll say it over and over that MS Classic Cars is not the biggest dealer. We are not a high volume dealer, but we are definitely doing great things. I think once you pay closer attention to what we do here and how we do it, I think you'll be really impressed. And the goal is to, at some point, do business. So once again, we appreciate you watching. I'm going to go ahead and start this, let you listen to how beautiful she runs. I'm going to turn this key here. Listen to this puppy fire up. Fires right up, and it sounds beautiful. Make sure to check out this rare Cobra. It's time to rock and roll.